Yo, top billing. All this Jalen Hurts angst has got me pissed off, right? And big salutes to the folks over at BetUS for sponsoring this video. But man, we're going to have to get some things straight up in this video here, right? This is an explosive article here. Now, I'll go over several things in this particular video, right? So it won't be like the normal video, but I have to get some things off my chest because this is far too reminiscent of my era, right? My back in the day, my favorite era will always be my favorite era. And that was the Andy Reid era with my favorite all-time player, Donovan McNabb, right? I'm seeing a lot of parallels here. Now, you have Brandon Graham, right? Uncle Graham, the great Brandon Graham, wish he was still playing, one of my all-time favorite players as well, talking about the Jalen Hurts, A.J. Brown relationship, right? Keep in mind, this is an 11-2 team that's on a 9-game winning streak. Eagles Brandon Graham says they were friends, but things have changed. I remarked about this last year when A.J. Brown was showing his ass when he wasn't getting his way getting the ball, right? That selfish prima donna type shit does not fly to me, right? To other people, right, A.J. Brown's very popular. He's a great player. There's no doubt about it. But diva wide receivers sink teams. We've seen it time and time again in the NFL, right? A lot of these diva wide receivers never actually end up winning titles, right? There are different ways to skin a cat. Spending your money on the line of scrimmage and defensive personnel, right? Maybe like defensive backs and all that, right? Has proven to be a winning formula as well as having a potent run game. This is what the Philadelphia Eagles have this year. This is the reason why things have come together. But check this out. For the second consecutive year, there appears to be tension between Hurts and A.J. Brown that is affecting the Philadelphia Eagles locker room, right? This is not tension between Hurts and A.J. Brown. This is all on A.J. Brown. Jalen Hurts is not a malcontent like A.J. Brown. If you complain during a winning streak where your team looks like the best team in the NFL perhaps and looks like it's on its way to a Super Bowl, how are you unhappy if you're not a selfish player and you want to get yours, right? You can lean on some shit and be like, oh, well, we need this for this to happen, this and this and this. The reality of it is you're winning, right? You're winning. If you look at this, right, you're talking about Jalen Hurts finishing with 108 yards passing, 226 over the past 2 games. Who gives a shit? They won. Look at his totals on the season and tell me this is not a winning formula with a guy like Saquon Barkley added in, right, and what he's doing. He is the show right now, right? Maybe before it was A.J. Brown, but now the winning formula proves that having a guy like Saquon Barkley behind that offensive line and having a guy like Jalen Hurts who can create 68.3 completion percentage. That is his highest in his career. 16 touchdowns, 5 interceptions, 2,600 yards. You have to count, obviously, what he does on the ground as well, and the amount of touchdowns that he gets on the ground, the amount of first downs they get, right, by abusing this guy with the brotherly shove and all that, right? Listen, Hurts also has thrown for 3 touchdowns and has a 102.7 passer rating on just 40 attempts. And equally as important, look at this. He also has 5 touchdowns over the last 2 games, 3 passing, 2 rushing in the fourth quarter of games over the 9-game winning streak. Hurts leads the NFL with a 152.5 passer rating and has more touchdowns than incompletions. Fuck out of here. Now look at this multi-layered levels concept here, right? A.J. Brown, more than likely not happy about this joint right here. But if you see the coverage, right, they got bracketed coverage with someone like J.C. Horn seeking underneath, and then you get the safety as well posted to the middle of the field, kind of closing off the middle of the field right there. So could you take that shot? Yes, you could take that shot. Perhaps you even get an explosive completion, or perhaps you throw the ball down there and it gets intercepted, and you put a team that is able to dominate time of possession if it wants to, able to play efficient ball and is able to chunk off yards on the ground while being able to efficiently move the ball through the air when necessary as well. Just completely stifle teams, right? So you have A.J. Brown here. He's going to be running pretty much a deep sail route. You're going to have thin diesel Devontae Smith here, right? He's kind of running a mid-level curl, kind of sitting down in the void of the defense here, right? Calcaterra, same deal. He's coming with an in-breaking route. You can see the levels here, 1, 2, 3. You even get Gainwell coming from the I believe back to the basket, play action fake. I'm not sure, but right, just a regular sit down route over the ball, right, dart route. And you get motion here, right? So it's going to be motion to trips into the boundary. You get Jahan Dotson here working the flats. Now, it's all laid up. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 right here for him to have an outlet. Now, we'll let it run. People get mad, right? Back to the basket, play action fake, right? Front facing play action fake. He doesn't like it. He checks the ball down, right? You live to work another play, right? You live to work another play on this one right here. On the front facing play action fake, you can see J.C. Horn sinking underneath. You can see also the safety right here. He has to make a quick decision. You don't want him to hold the ball too long. You don't want to take unnecessary sacks. And you've had a little bit of a faulty pass pro this year, right? The pass pro hasn't been as good. So you got to get that clock out. Coach Moore is definitely telling him to dial it in, right? Hit 1, 2, 3, hit, go. So if it's not there, if you feel it's not there, you feel that's not developing the way it is, the way it should be, right? He's already on his back foot right here. And if you're making the decision right now, you just don't know. You just don't know, right? Suppose J.C. Horn sinks underneath here. Suppose the safety brackets this and you're throwing in the double coverage. People will be pissed off anyway, right? So what you do have is you have the corner sinking back as well. So these guys are running kind of bracketed coverage, right, with a bell and sink technique there. Why not shoot the ball to someone who has a little bit of space, get you a few yards there, you live to fight another down, right? You don't turn the ball over, right? That's not bad football. No, is it get A.J. Brown the stats he wants and all that. But, man, you continue to be efficient, the sky's the limit. And people not fucking with the Philadelphia Eagles with this type of play right now. Not as exciting, no doubt about that, right? But, hey, it's efficient and it's Super Bowl worthy. I've noticed some miscommunication going on too, whether it be with Hurts and the receivers or even some of the pass protection adjustments. On this one right here, you'll get that front-facing play-action fake the game well. You get a pulling lineman here by Landon Dickerson, right? So setting up your play action, they say if you want to be a good play action team, you have to pull those guards, right? That's going to be a key, right? A key for your second level players, the linebackers and all that. But what happens when you send somebody, right? Landon Dickerson right here would have to know that he's going to have to mission abort his original assignment and get the guy who's closest to Jalen Hurts, right? Which has been Josie Jewell right here, right? You let Josie Jewell get by, maybe you get a better completion right here, right? Maybe this is a 25-yard completion or something, right? But we do know it's a mistake. Landon Dickerson looking right at him, right? That's what I'm saying, right? We got to get little things together before you start panicking and having angst, right? Not everything is Jalen Hurts' fault. Not everything is on the quarterback. The great Pat Curran said, take your eye off the ball. Think about that. Let that sink in. Let it marinate. With sports or in life in general, when people don't like you, they will listen to anyone who has a negative opinion about you. Who in the fuck listens to Mark Sanchez, right? Come on, this dude's one of the absolute worst. I hate this dude. Right? I want to shoot a fair one with Mark Sanchez. I said that on my Seattle coverage. He's always there bagging on Geno Smith and being hypercritical of the dude. And he was doing the same shit with Jalen Hurts. Now, this particular play right here, you're going to have them trying to move the sticks. You're going to have a deep curl here by Jahan Dotson. Same deal right here with Thin Diesel Devontae Smith. And then you get A.J. Brown over here, right? He didn't like this coverage anyway, right? It's man coverage here real quick there. So he makes the correct read. Right? He's going right here. You get Thin Diesel matched up on Josie Jewell here. Right? You would think he'd be able to win that matchup. You have Jahan Dotson working against Mike Jackson here, who's a pretty good corner, right? He's doing pretty good with the Carolina Panthers there. So watch how this develops here, right? He was talking about Jalen Hurts in the rhythm pattern. Look, 2-3 hitches, boom, right? Even with the 2 or 3 hitches, you could make an argument that should have been caught by Jahan Dotson. He stops. Look, he stops right here and kind of allows Mike Jackson to catch up to him right here. If he continues to work back to the ball, right, at the very least you get a completion, right? Maybe not as far as you wanted it to be, but you would get the completion here. But here's where he originally wanted to go, which is why he rhythm padded. Devontae Smith ends up matched up with a linebacker, right? But Josie Jewell ends up playing it correctly. You can see him right now looking at Devontae Smith one-on-one matched up right here. And Devontae Smith actually does separate at the end, but he's already going to his secondary read on this one, on this progression here, and going to Jahan Dotson now, who probably just needed to work back to the ball a little bit better. But he had to, because this is a long developing route. Look, right here, he's already hit his fifth step in the drop. And look, he still has numbers. He still has nameplates. So this is a long developer play, one hitch. But of course, if he says it and he's the announcer, people gonna go by that, right? Because people want to hear bad shit about Jalen Hurts. But what did you want him else to do on this particular play, right? Maybe go to his tertiary read right here to Calcaterra? No, he made the correct read. All Jahan Dotson needs to do was continue to flow back to the ball. Come on, man. People aren't giving Jalen Hurts enough credit for understanding defenses. On this particular one right here, was it pointed out? Right, this was on Devontae Smith here. This could have been an excellent gainer. Look at the spacing here. You're going to automatically run these pass tags on these run calls due to spacing, because you have guys like Devontae Smith who are excellent after the catch. Same deal with your boy A.J. Brown right there. But what happens on this one right here? It's a run play. He aborts it. He needs Devontae Smith to simply stay put damn near, right? Somewhere right here, and it's good. You get someone being sent off the edge, a defensive back being sent off the edge, you're replacing that. That's all you're doing is you run into that vacated area, you throw the ball right where you would think he would normally be, right? You would think he would sink underneath here, if anything. However, they do work the spacing to where it is like that. Devontae Smith doesn't get that signal. Look at this. He continues to run a little bit, so Hurts has to run with the ball. And you can tell here, this is what Hurts not going to do. He's not going to be overly demonstrative. He's not going to show people off, right? He's not going to show out on people to where the crowd knows what's going on, right? The average layperson is not going to know what's going on there because he's not being demonstrative about it. Someone like Karen Rodgers, right? He would have showed up his receiver and talked shit to him, and then they would have known that the receiver did something wrong. But watch Jalen Hurts. He gets up here, subtly just points to Devontae Smith like, hey, man, you supposed to come. I'm coming to you with the ball there, right? Look, right here, you can see him. He's about to throw the ball to Devontae Smith, but Devontae Smith's lead. He doesn't have to do anything but turn around. That's all he had to do. They sent someone there. He turns right there. He would have been good. They get the ball to him. Devontae Smith then turns a little bit later, and Jalen has the abort. Come on, man. Get this guy some credit. I love this play right here from Jalen Hurts, but I think it speaks to what Brandon Graham was talking about. You're going to have your boy Thin Diesel right here. He's almost just clearing it out, right? I don't know what he be clearing out. He's running vert, right? But they're working plastic coverage. You'll see everybody working his zone here. You end up getting pretty much everybody in the same spot trying to guard against the big play. And Jalen Hurts still makes the big play. A.J. Brown here working on a curl, right? It's really good defense by the defensive back here, Mike Jackson. And I wonder if Jalen Hurts trusts this guy. Right? If you can't be friends with this dude, he's always showing his ass on you on national TV, and perhaps the toughest market in all of football, right, or all of sports probably, the Philadelphia Eagles, right, in the city of brotherly love, right, where there's not much love going on around here between us. But you got to wonder if he trusts this guy enough to even go there with it, right? Because if it's a mistake, then it's like, damn, why even go to this dude and it's a mistake, right? So he kind of, while he could have done this to A.J. Brown, man, he ends up coming off of that read and still making a good read, right? I'm going to say Calcaterra in breaking route as well. So think about that right there when you watch something like this, right? That's his initial read there. He looking at A.J. Brown. Jackson breaks on it, but look at him. Jocka. Look at the product placement. It still ends up moving the chains really good. You'll see Jalen Hurts looking at A.J. Brown, doesn't like it, quickly aborts, creates a space in Jakob. That's some great quarterbacking. That's very efficient. The name of the game right now for Jalen Hurts is to not turn the ball over, right? That's it, right? You could call it being a game manager and all that. Cool. It's about winning a Super Bowl. It's not about how you win the Super Bowl. It's about winning the damn Super Bowl. You want to be flashy and shit like that? Cool. That doesn't mean you're going to win a Super Bowl with it, but you can see right here, he didn't like it. Maybe he could have shot this to A.J. Brown, but Mike Jackson's on it. Right, that could have very well, look at that. Mike Jackson comes out of the break way better than A.J. Brown came out of this break, and he's on it. So Jalen saw that right there. Look at that. That could have possibly been a pick six. And then what would A.J. Brown have said? He wouldn't have said shit, right? He wouldn't have said, yo, I came out of this break kind of funny. But, I mean, them's the breaks right there. So Jalen Hurts doing his thing, keeping his eyes upfield, staying parallel to the line of scrimmage, squaring his shoulders and delivering to Devontae Smith there. That's hard. That's what we need to win the Super Bowl, man. You guys is drawn. Back to the CBS article. The Hurts-Brown drama is apparently bigger than anyone would have realized and is apparently taking over the locker room of an 11-2 team. Do you need to be talking about something like this on your way to a Super Bowl? This shit is crazy. If you look back on it and we don't win the Super Bowl and there's being a fracture in the locker room based off egos, this shit is crazy to me, man. Absolutely crazy to me. That's why somebody like A.J. Brown, man, as great as he is, I think sometimes cats like him just aren't worth it, right? Because it's not about winning for him. It's about winning a certain type of way. Like, that's all that can be said about that. Graham said we need to be able to talk things out as men. We need to let personal stuff go. It's like a lot of stuff. Most of the time, it's like a conversation that needs to be had. The person with the problem has to want to talk to the person. Come on, man. It's as simple as that. But come on, how do you recover from that, right? I hate to bring up, man, it's one of my worst time periods. Right? I hated that shit, right? The McNabb and T.O. thing, right? People were trying to say, no, it's not like that, but how is it really not like that, right? There was some crazy shit said, though. That's the difference right there. They were guys were throwing shit back and forth about each other in the media, but A.J. Brown being passive-aggressive, they asked him what's wrong, right? How you asking somebody what's wrong and you just won? You just won. Your team's 11-2. You asking them what's wrong, and he's like, passing. All right, is the defense wrong? Is the rushing game wrong? Are you winning? Come on, man. I hate this shit, man. I can't even front, man. And the fans flame this shit, right? They put fuel on the fire by going around doing the same exact shit, man. I don't know, man. I don't know. So out there, man, all my top billing villains, you have to let me know what you think about this right here, man. Is it one thing to win, or do you have to win a certain type of way? Because if we go back and look, people talking about, oh, in the Super Bowl or in the playoffs, you have to be able to pass and this and that. Usually it's the other way around. A lot of these teams can't run the ball in the Super Bowl or in the playoffs, right? And then they have to grin and bear it, right? I hate to bring up and rip off this Band-Aid right here because this is not a fun time for us, no doubt about that, right? But you go back and look at Patrick Mahomes' performance, it was very much reminiscent of what you see from Jalen Hurts now, and this was in the Super Bowl, right? He was very efficient. He didn't pass for a lot of yards, right? He had 3 touchdowns on 27 attempts, but this is where they got us. And you know this. Patrick Mahomes added in the run game. Jerick McKinnon was doing his thing, and Pacheco, man, was running extremely hard and very efficient as well, right? They had some really good run game numbers where normally they're a passing team, right? And the complete opposite of that, this guy that everybody has all this angst about, right? He showed his ass in the Super Bowl in a positive way. He was balling. Jalen Hurts destroyed it in the Super Bowl, man. He passed the ball 38 times, 300 yards. He even contributed on the ground himself, but look at the rushing totals. That's when we knew in the Super Bowl, in the playoffs, when it's cold as hell and people don't want to hit, man, you got to be able to run the ball. That's playoff football, right? Yeah, Smith and Brown got theirs and got it and all that right there, but what did it amount to? You ended up having to work with a shootout that somebody beat you playing more of your style of ball, and you played their style of ball and lost. So keep that in mind there. But that's all I have, man. Let me know what you think about that, man. And let me know what you think about heading over to BetUS, where you're going to get 150% sign-up bonus on your first deposit, 125% on your next two with 10% gambling insurance, man. I can't stress it enough, man. These guys have that 24/7 customer support, 24-hour payouts, and the whole 9. This shit is legit, baby. Come on. You saw me doing the damn thing constantly throughout the season. You should be doing it too, right? Prop bets, parlays, prop builders. You know how it goes for sure. 150% on your first deposit, 125% on your next two. Head on over to BetUS now, actually right now. Salute.
Top Billin, Uptown Murf.